Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, February 14th. Markets in open. Sorry, today's Wednesday. Yeah, today's Wednesday, February 14th. So I lost track of the date. It's 6:22 right now. Markets in open in about 8 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a couple things here to update. And we should be good to go. All right, one last thing. It's good. That's good. All right, so let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And I'll be ready to go. All right, so I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 14th. It is 6:25 right now. Markets in open in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna start marking up liquidity over here on the daily chart, and then we'll go from there. So start with up here. Down to the 8-hour. Go down to the 4-hour. Down to the 2-hour. Down to the 1-hour. Down to the 30-minute. And we'll change this color to red. Down to the 15-minute. Down to the 10. Down to the 1 minute. And it looks like we're good to go. So we have the first level of liquidity above over here at 38,457 and the level down below at 38,415. There goes the liquidity for the day. Going over to this chart over here, let me see where price is moving. We don't really have much of a trend right now, so I'll go and make some adjustments to the let's see. I mean, technically we do, but I already broke it. I'll come back to that later. Here's our clean chart. I'm gonna mark up 6:30, 8 o'clock. I'll see if there's structure over here on the 4-hour. So we got resistance up here, which is pretty high up. We have support down here, which is pretty far down, going down to the 1-hour. Yeah, that's about it. All right, so there's not really much structure nearby to current price. We'll come back and mark up 1-minute structure once time comes. Over here on our PRB chart, we're looking for a buy right now. The trend's currently bullish. That's what we're looking for. Going over to news, we had news over here at 4 o'clock, 5:30, 4, 5:30, 7, and 7:30. That's about it. 4, 5:30. I'll put that up real quick. So over here at 4. $5:30. So 4, 5:30, 7, 7:30. All right. 7 and 7:30. All right, guys, market is about to open right here shortly. We're probably gonna be looking for a buy here. Yeah, we have the Fed speaking right now at 6:30, so we'll have to watch to see how the market reacts to it. Hopefully we're able to just get in and out super quickly and not have to worry about it. So Fed Goolsby will be speaking in a few moments. You guys, market is now open. Got a big spike here on open. This isn't going to be the first criteria, Maddie. So there's no print here because it's not really body's touching it, but no wick. All right, so I'm just going to mark up opening price right here across the board. And we will be looking for our PRB entry. As I mentioned, our PRB entry is most likely going to be a buy here. Trend's bullish. $25.25 looks good for today. So there's no print yet. Might get the print right here, Maddie. So looks like we might get the first criteria here. Price came down, rejected off the pivot, pushed back up. So that's gonna be step 1 right there. If it closes. So this candle has to close green. If it closes green or with a doji, we may have our first criteria there. So I'll take it step by step. Nick said don't take it yet. There's no entry yet, Nick. So there wouldn't be anything to take there to begin with. Like it's basically on the first criteria. So there's nothing here. It's closing just like how we thought. So it closed right there. Now we're looking for some space. Basically a sideways movement. Candles are a little blocky today again, which is fine. Let's see. Yeah, I guess Goldsby is speaking right now. So we'll see how this candle right here closes. It's not looking like it'll be space. It might be space if it's just no, probably won't be. Doesn't look like space here at all. And put a timestamp right here at 7 for the cutoff. Yeah, Nick said crazy movement. Yeah, a lot of crazy movement here pre-market. Or not pre-market, but on open. So it's got to be patient. I mean, if it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up. Just got to wait for it. All right, so we do have space right here. Stearns and CNBC just reported market rebound from yesterday. That's why price is dumping back down. So we do have space right here, Maddie. I mean, it's not really great, but there is a space there for the most part. It's basically like an equal wick top bottom. Let's see. Nicholas is asking if anyone's having issues logging into TraderBait today. I'm on NinjaTrader. Mine's fine. I'm not sure if anybody else is, but for me personally, I personally don't have any issues at the moment. All right, this is fine right here. Price is starting to dump down. If price dumps back down, then we'll start looking for a sell. Yeah, so it looks like Vince had issues logging into TraderVator, or sorry, not TraderVator. Vince had issues logging into NinjaTrader, so he just logged into TraderVator instead, and it's working fine for him. Albert had issues with NinjaTrader as well. Yeah, it looks like some people are having issues. I'm not sure if any of you guys are on Rhythmic. I don't know if it's a Rhythmic issue or if it's a TraderVator issue, but for me personally, I'm okay with mine. All right, so the trend is starting to shift down. Albert said he used Google login, so what he had to do is click forget username, forgot username. Gotcha. Yeah, if you guys have the auto login, that might be the issue. Mine, I manually type in my login every time I go into my NinjaTrader or any other platform. So we have the trend starting to shift to the downside, which is completely fine. Tony's asking, how is the market rebounding but going down? Yeah, like you know how CNBC works. Whenever CNBC reports something, it does the opposite. So this is where it's supposed to go. That's why we usually do the opposite of CNBC. So yeah, whatever CNBC reports, typically the market does the opposite. And that's why we usually, like we always do the opposite of CNBC. We do the opposite of everything. Opposite of retail sentiment. We do the opposite of CNBC, opposite of news usually. So this right here would be the breakout V3. I'm not going to take it because the trend just shifted. I would need the trend to like actually be confirmed. So this trend barely shifted on the entry candle. I would need it to actually be established before I look for entry. Like I need to make sure it's a clear setup. Plus right here, Kevin just mentioned that it's had a red flag as well. I mean, I played through if anybody caught it, but I didn't take that. I didn't really plan on taking it either. It was right at the sessions. It's kind of a tricky market right now, the way that the market's currently moving. So we might get space right here, guys. You might be able to look for a sell here for the PRB. ATR is currently at 20. It's pretty decently high right now. It's not bad. So it looks like we're getting space right there. We got the initial print. We got the space on this candle right here. And we're now looking for the retracement and continuation to the downside. So I need price to push up, come back down. I'm doing 25 units for mine specifically. 25. So now I'm just looking for it to, yeah, for the PRB, I'm taking 25. I haven't changed anything, keeping it at 25. I'll let you guys know if I do change it, but the ATR is not super high right now. If it's at like 22, 25 around there, then maybe, but okay, so if price comes up and touches the pivot over here and comes back down, then I may be looking for entry here for a sell. Not yet, but well, it's not looking like it's going to come down that low. Okay. So I'm basically looking for price to spike up and come back down, right? Retracement and continuation, but like a sharp continuation back to the downside. That is pretty much what I'm looking for here. Don't have it yet, but looks like it could be setting up on this candle here, if not the next one. Yeah, exactly. Nick said he wanted to tap pivot one or two at least. 1, 2, and 3 would be nice. Yeah. So I got to see how this candle here closes, guys. If this candle closes as a strong red candle, this is going to be the entry for the PRB. Got to see how it closes though. No, there's no entry there. Not yet. Big wick on the bottom. So it needed to close as a strong red candle. It didn't close strong. It spiked back up at the last second. So there's no entry there for the PRB, at least not yet. It's a tricky market today, guys. Be careful. Because at the last second, it still moves very sharply. Nick's asking still for a sell. Yeah, still for a sell. The trend's still bearish here, so we're obviously still looking for a sell. Like we're always going in the direction of the trend. First thing that we look for is the trend. We look for that. We already have a setup here, the print space, and then we're looking for this here next. Nice, Maddie. Yeah, no, it's a smart move there. In and out. So looks like Maddie got in on accident, and then he pulled out for a small profit. So just like what happened yesterday. So if you guys get into a position and it doesn't meet the criteria, then you guys got to pull out, right? You guys got to remember that. Can't get greedy. You got to pull out of it, understand that you made a mistake, and just take what you can get. So again, right here, I'm looking for price to push up and then looking for it to come back down. So push to the upside, retracement, and then looking for a possible continuation to the downside. Basically a wick rejection off, an area up here, structure. We got about 28 seconds left on this candle, so we still have some time. I wouldn't mind if it pushes up a bit higher and then comes back down harder. Looks like this might just be space again right here. I mean, rejection off the sessions would be nice, Sunday. That'd be ideal if we get that. It's not looking like it yet, though. All right, so this might be the candle right here that we're looking for. We want it to push up, we want it to come back down. So push up, spike like a hard push to the upside, and then a strong push back down. So here we go with the push up right here. Basically, I'm looking for a nice wick on top. If I get a nice wick on top and price pushes back down, this is going to be my entry for the PRB. But it's got to be pretty clear. It's not there yet. It also can't be, spiking down at the very last second. So we still got 20 seconds left on this here. I'll start looking at it once it gets close to like the 10 to 5 second mark. All right, Price coming down to it. This candle closes with the wick. I'll be taking here for a sell.
Or
I'm in the position, so it's right there for entry. Let's see where it's at.
order submitted.
Put alert right there. The ATR is a little high right now. It's currently at 21 points. So it's a little high. If you want to go for a bigger TP stop loss, 30-30, that might be okay too. It's just a little tight right now because of the ATR. So looking for the turnaround over here if I can. All right. Unfortunately, I got stopped out of position, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes back down. So unfortunately, this is a loss for today. So 2 wins and 1 loss for this week so far. A win on Monday, win on Tuesday, and no loss today. The ATR just picked up here at the very last second. The ATR was like at 18, went straight up to like 21. And today's just unfortunately a loss. So it's all good. Going to eat that loss and then move on to the next opportunity here. So there goes a loss for the PRB. Again, we have a win on Monday, win on Tuesday, loss on Wednesday. And we're going to continue on with this for the rest of the week. So let me count this as a loss right here. It's just a tricky market. You guys saw how the candles are moving. It was really hard to tell which direction this was going to go in. I wouldn't be surprised if it just spiked out right here and then it ends up coming right back down. But that's kind of what happened the past 2 times that it lost, right? It's lost 2 times in or 3 times in 2 months now. So, I mean, it's still a pretty high win-loss ratio, but we typically get caught in the spikes and it comes right back down, which is fine. That's still a strategy. So counting that right there as a loss. And we'll continue looking for the next entry here. Let me delete this alert. See if I go to the 30. Yeah, either way, if you went for the 30, it still would have gotten stopped out. So it wouldn't really matter if you went for 25 or for 30. So that's it for the PRB right there. Let's go back over here for the main entries. So we'll be looking for V1 variation with confluence and a breakout V3 continuation with confluence as well. So we're still in a bearish trend right here. So now we're going to be looking for a V1 pattern. Basically, we're going to be looking for a double body or double wick off any of these highs. Once we get that double body or double wick, we'll be looking for the next opportunity there for a V1 variation and for a breakout V3 continuation with confluence. So let me go over here and just take a screenshot of my losses real quick to show you guys where I'm at. Let's see. So down for the day, but up for the week. So not too bad. Here it is. I wish there was a way for me to take a screenshot of like all my accounts for the week profits because you guys can see what it looks like for the whole week, not just for the day. But yeah, we have 2 wins for the week and just 1 loss for today. So I do have a red. I'm obviously going to show you guys because I copied all my trades. So there goes my loss for the day, and obviously the wins for the previous days over here. So still in profit for the week, just at a loss for the day. And you can see prices starting to come back down. We just got in a bad entry point. But that's the strategy, so it is what it is. It's got to take it. So let me scroll up real quick. Kip said, have you seen a PRB entry with that pending momentum? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's come up, but I can't remember if and when that's happened. Kit. Let's see. Let's see. Lucas is asking, with the fact that there was a green momentum candle right before this PRB entry, any kind of red flag? That's kind of like what Kit mentioned as well. There's been times where there hasn't been. Well, actually, no. That I now that I've thought about it, there's well, for this right here, this would be too late, Lucas, because the entry happened on this candle. So the green candle, the green buy signal right here, we wouldn't even be able to identify that. And this pretty much pushed it up to its stop loss. So at that point, it'd be too late already. So we couldn't really use that as a red flag. The entry happened down here before this candle came up. You can see prices coming back down. We just got in at a bad entry, guys. It's just part of the strategy, right? No strategy can be 100%. So I don't think there's anything different that could have been done here. Kit mentioned that there was a pending buy signal. I don't remember there being a pending buy signal when we look for entry. Yeah, because I don't remember there being a buy signal here at all. We entered on this candle right here, guys. So there was no pending buy signal when we were watching this. This price came up and down. The buy signal came up after, so there's no way we could have predicted that was going to happen. And you can see prices coming back down. So, I mean, for those of you who are like not using a stop loss, you're probably still in the position. It's probably going to come back down to where you want it to go. But, you just got to eat the loss. Because that's how the strategy is applied. But yeah, like Kit mentioned, we're still working on it. It's a work in progress. So if we have some adjustments that can be made, we'll make adjustments to it. But for the most part, the strategy is hitting pretty nice overall. So long-term wise, the strategy is working fine. There's no changes that need to be made. We're currently, what are we? So this is week 2 of February. So right now, we're currently, let's see, 5 times 4 plus 8 days. So 28 trading days from January 1st up until now. 28 trading days. We had 2 losses or 3 losses. So that's 25 divided by 28. We're still at an 89% win-loss ratio for a 1-to-1 strategy, which is very high. So there's no need to make any changes yet. If this goes below 50%, then okay, we have to make changes. But there's no need to make any changes at all to the strategy. Maria said, I believe rejecting from pivot 2 and 3 would be better entry. Yeah, no, it would be better entry, but then you'd miss every other entry that came up, Maria, right? Because there was like a lot of entries that came up where it just goes to pivot 1. So if you want to go back and test it, Maria, you can, but I could guarantee you if you go back and test it, you're not going to have good results because you're not going to have very many entries. You're going to have entries where just you miss the entire entry for the day. Because the cutoff is at 7 o'clock, right? If you don't get the rejection by 7 o'clock or you don't get the entry, there's not going to be any entries for you guys to take. So it's all good. We're moving on to the next entry over here, which is either going to be a V1 variation with confluence or breakout V3 continuation with confluence. We don't have that yet, but we're going to be looking for that. Going over here to our liquidity chart. As you guys can see, liquidity over here got hit on pretty much every direction. So market opened right here, spiked up. The first level of liquidity right here got hit. So whoever caught that first level, full TP. And then price came down right here. It hit this next level of liquidity, full TP. And hit this next level over here down below, another full TP. And then lastly, this level down here as well. I don't know if this one played through, but let's see if it played through. Didn't. So every entry except the last one went straight to full TP for the liquidity here. If anybody caught any of these liquidity push trades. Other than that, here's our clean chart. I'm going to mark up. So I marked up opening price, which was right here. I'm going to mark up structure now, which is right there, which is right there. And we will continue to look for entries here as price continues to move along. As you guys can see, price is going sideways right here. So it's currently going into a range. With price going into a range like this, we'll probably be looking for some V1 variation with confluence because it's a sideways strategy. Eunice is asking, could the entry for the PRB happen where there is a double wick rejection from the session? No, okay, because the entry is down here, Eunice. So guys, there's no other entry. The entry that we got, what we took for today, that was the entry for the PRB. No analysis works. This is the analysis for the PRB entry, guys. There's nothing that's different that would have been done because that's the entry right here. So guys, just keep that in mind. I know everybody has an idea like, oh, could we enter over here? Could we enter over here? No, you can't enter here because the strategy is down here, guys. I know it looks good here. Like, you know, you guys could have said something before I took the trade, right? Before I took the trade, you should have said, hey, Sean, wait for it to push up. But no, you guys had to say something at the end. So guys, this is the strategy right here. Everybody has an opinion, but this is the strategy. Nothing's going to change. So just keep that in mind, guys. You know, it's just kind of frustrating to hear people have opinions after you lose a trade, but where were these opinions when we were taking the trade, right? So just keep that in mind. It's my strategy. The strategy was right here, and there's nothing else that could have been could have been different. Because that's the strategy right there, guys. If you guys want to create your own PRB strategy, that's completely fine. You know, if you guys want to not take my entry and wait for the next one, by all means, that, you know, create your PRB version too. But guys, this is the entry right here. So there's nothing that can be done differently. You know, there's no shoulda, coulda, woulda part of this. That's the entry right here. We had, and I'll explain this during the mentoring session with you guys, because as I mentioned, the strategy is adapting. You know, maybe at some point in the future, maybe the entry will be up here, but we've been applying the same strategy for the past month and it's been working. So guys, you guys just got to understand that you have to eat the losses. There's no crying about it later, right? We have 25 wins and 3 losses for a whole month and a half. I'll take those odds any day versus, oh, I took a loss and I'm going to change the strategy because it didn't work for 3 times out of 28 times, right? So just keep that in mind, guys. If you guys think there's something that can be done differently, then go ahead and do it, right? Do it. I'm going to keep doing it the way that I'm doing it, and I'm going to keep stacking my wins. And if you guys have a better idea, then go ahead and make some changes to it. But let's just stop talking about the PRB. We're not talking about the PRB anymore. PRB is done with. We'll talk about this in the mentoring session. Right now, we'll talk about what's coming up now. So we're going to be looking for some V1 variations with confluence and some breakout V3 continuations with confluence, right? That's all we're looking for. There's no more talk about PRB. PRB is done with. It's once a day, happens between 6:30 and 7. There's only one entry. There's no different entry points for it. So, all right, guys, we're going to move forward with this. And if I see any more PRB questions, I'm not going to answer any more PRB questions. We're going to focus on what's happening right now. And if you guys want to ask PRB questions, we'll talk about that in the mentoring session. Okay, guys, just want to, so there's no, because the thing is, if I keep talking about the PRB, I'm going to miss the next entry. And then that's going to really throw me off. So I'm looking for 2 entries right here, and that's about it. Yeah, no, exactly. Henry said it's a mental thing, especially for the few mentorship people. FOMO on the winning trades due to losing 3 PRBs. Since we started, you're right, though, got to eat the losses. Yeah, that's really what it is, guys. That's how strategies work, right? You don't change the strategy because it doesn't work once or twice. You continue to apply the strategy the way that it's supposed to be applied. So, and that's the point of mentorship, right? It's about discipline. You guys got to have discipline to follow the strategy how it's supposed to be taken. But there's no other entry points that could have happened. That's pretty much it. All right, so let me mark this up too. This is the other, or actually there's nothing here, Maddie. There's only one zone here because I mean, we can start looking for it, but it looks like the only one that because these over here already been, or it looks like that. So the reversal one right here wouldn't have worked, Maddie. Or no, technically it hasn't even started because the trend just started shifting right here. So the first level would have to be right over here at this point. Yeah, no, exactly. Kip said agreed. PRB entry was what it was. The only thing we can do is try to recognize potential red flags. But it's really hard to do because it has so few losses. Yeah, exactly. So it's good that losses do come up when you apply the PRB entry, guys, because that's how we adjust for the market. We don't have enough data with losses because we've been winning the PRBs for so long now that we can't really make adjustments to the strategy yet. If we start to take more losses, then yeah, we're going to study those losses and identify what needs to be done differently. But right now, nothing needs to be changed. All right, so there's nothing here right now, Maddie. Looking over here at the, what is it called? The high-low scalp liquidity that we're kind of working on. This is the trade that I took yesterday during the mentoring session. I'm going to be looking for some higher highs to establish structure for the reversal that may happen later on in the day. But other than that, there's no other entries here available. So basically what we're looking for here at the moment is we're looking for some highs with the V1 pattern. So we're looking for a high with the V1 pattern. Once we have that high, then we'll be looking for entry right after. Let's see, FX Trap is asking, hey Kai, can you explain the V1? So I'm not going to explain the strategy here, but if you want to look at the strategy, it's on the course. So if you want to pull up the course, again, guys, for this these live sessions, this is mainly for trading. If you guys want to learn the strategies, everything is on the course. Let me pull up the course for you real quick so that you can see. But I'm not going to explain any strategies here because our focus is on taking entries, not for teaching. So if you want me to teach stuff, then attend the mentoring session, but I'm not really going to be teaching stuff during these live trading sessions. So if you go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access right here. Once you go on the website over here, you scroll down, it says main strategies. You'll have the strategies right here. Breakout V3 strategy, breakout V3 with continuation with confluence, the V1 variation with confluence. So these are the two that you're looking for right here, FX Trap. It's going to be under module 4, main strategies. You just log in, go to main strategies, module 4, strategies right there. Yeah, no problem. I would help you, but there's just no time because I don't want to go off track. We're still looking for other entries here during the live session. So yeah, you can watch the videos there, and then during the mentoring sessions, you can ask some questions like more detail that I can show you. But all right, so we're going to be looking for these two entries here. There's nothing for us to take at the moment, but again, this is what I'm looking for. Price is currently going sideways right here. We're looking for price to go up, and we're looking for price to come back down. So we're looking for price to come up like this. For a double top. So we're looking for price to push up, give a V1 pattern, come back down, come back up for a V1 variation. And then we may be able to have entry right there for a V1, right? That's going to be the first setup. The other setup is we might get price to push up, provide a V1 pattern here and come down lower like that. That's going to be the breakout V3 pattern, the breakout V3 continuation that we'll be looking for. So we're either looking for a double top with the V1 or we're looking for a reversal and continuation to the downside for a breakout V3 continuation here. So this is what we're looking for. Yeah, no, exactly, Maddie. Thanks. Yeah, we need to focus on like what's happening right here on the charts because this is pretty much what we're looking for. So basically the first thing you're looking for is you're looking for a high that comes up with a double body or double wick. Once we have that, we'll be looking for possible entry. But until we have that, we're not going to have a confluence for entry. So we had news over here, I believe, at 7 o'clock, balance the trade. It was, looks like it's neutral for the most part. So I'll mark the news right there. Color that pink. All right, so we got that right there. We have another news event over here at 7:30, which is going to be, it's just oil stocks. It's the same oil stocks news that comes up pretty much every month. Gasoline stock change and crude oil stock change. So we got that coming up over here at 7 o'clock. As you guys can see, there's no direction. Price is going back and forth right here within this range. Here is the clean chart. I know there's no structure here, but I'll just mark up structure here so that you guys can see. Once we have actual structure, I'll clean it up. But I'm just gonna put this here so that you guys can see the sideways movement between the range right here. So there's not too much going on. Main thing for the sideways movement is looking for the top and the bottom. So since price is trending down right now, we'll be looking for the top to establish a reversal pattern, and we'll be looking for it to come back down for either a double top or reversal and continuation to the downside. Yeah, Kip said it's confluence for direction of trades. There are old school snipe entries running. Pivot shifting on the 10-minute. Yeah, I can see that. Looks like there might be a momentum pullback scalp coming up too, or unless it's already. Yeah, it looks like hasn't come up yet, but the MPS entry might be coming up shortly. David said all your strategies work well. It passed the demo account with only your PRB strategy. Yeah, no, definitely, David. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, I mean, everything that we do, there's a reason behind each strategy. Each strategy has its own reasoning behind why we take the entry, but the entries they're not always going to play out as you'd expect. So like for right now, we're looking for this V1 variation. It's not as smooth as it was, the past couple weeks. I think like a couple days ago, like the PRB and actually yesterday, not the PRB, the V1 and breakout V3 continuations were moving pretty smoothly because we had a lot of V1 patterns that would come up over here. They would come up and then they would come back down. But right here, you can see none of these are flatlined. So this one over here, there's no double body, no double wick, no double body, no double wick. Same with right here. This is like a doji candle with no double body, no double wick. Since there's a high right here, we need a low to get established. We need a low to come up first. Once the low comes up, we'll wait for it to come back up and then come back down. Because it's okay if price goes sideways like this. If price goes sideways, as long as we get that reversal pattern, like say up here, then it'll work perfectly fine. We just gotta wait for that setup, which is just not there yet. Yeah, it's kind of ironic that like now the volatility died down. The one thing that could have caused a spike too is the fact that the Fed was speaking. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's a lot of different factors that were going on today. We had the Fed speaking at 6:30. So the movement right there, the crazy movement on open where price kind of spiked up and came back down, that could have been easily because of the Fed speaking. It's hard to avoid news because news is happening all throughout the day. There's just a lot of factors here that could have caused price to move the way it did. Because initially we were looking for a buy here, right? It looked like a definite buy. And then price came down super hard and then it came back up for the fake out. Now it's been going sideways. So there's nothing here that we can really predict at the moment because we don't even know if the Fed's still speaking right now. The Fed started speaking at 6:30. He could be done because he usually speaks for about 30 minutes or so, unless they switch off to another Fed speaker. But I think until we get some direction, we're not really going to have many opportunities for entry here. So again, right here, we have another high. But even though we do have the high here, there's no double body or double wick. So there's nothing for us to take here. Once we get that double body, double wick, we'll have the confluence and we can start looking for entries, in the direction. Yeah, Daniel said almost gave us that higher high. Yeah, if it pushed up a little higher, past this level, this would have been a higher high right there. All right, Steve, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Yeah, I know, Maddie, right? and the only ones that know the specific requirements. Yeah. Yeah, so price is having trouble getting past the sessions right here, as you guys can see. There's no direction right now. Price is going back and forth. We're still kind of just waiting for that V1 pattern to come up, which hasn't come up yet. This is a low impact news event. So if we do get an entry and it comes around news right here, I'll still be okay with taking it. But you guys can see over here on the clean chart that price is still just going sideways back and forth. There's no entries for us here. No entries there. No higher high there. There's just nothing going on. So again, we just have to wait for the next opportunity to come up here today. Let's check the Discord real quick. So it looks like, let's see. So it looks like a couple of you guys here held a PRB later and you made some profit on it. So David over here held a PRB later, made 100 on it. And then Casey also held it as well and made some profit on it too. Yeah, it's just tricky the way that it moves. I mean, price is coming back down right here. We don't have any other opportunities for entry. I'm still looking for that V1 pattern because if we do have that V1 pattern, it's going to confirm the continuation to the downside. And that's kind of what we're looking for here, right? We're just looking for the continuation back to the downside. It's going to turn around at some point, whether it turns around to the upside or turns around to the downside. There was actually a V1 pattern below right here. There's actually two of them. So right there is a V1 pattern. And right there, a V1 pattern. And it did reverse slightly, but not enough. There's actually three V1 patterns right here. So we weren't really looking for buys here, but there was a V1 pattern on the bottom end of each low. So right here, we had a lower low, double body, price pushed up. Price came back down right here, double body, push right back up. Same with this right here, double body, and it pushed up slightly. So there's patterns that are coming up here, but they're not patterns in the direction that we're looking for because we're still looking for a sell right now because the overall trend is still bearish. You can see prices below the pivots, the trend meter is red, pivots are angling down, they're spread out. This right here is currently a sell signal that's pending. If this here closes with a sell signal and it has a red candle after it, it's going to be a breakout V3 continuation. It's not going to be with confluence, so it's not an entry that I'm personally looking for. But this does meet criteria for an entry if you guys are looking for the breakout V3 continuation. This candle would have to close with that sell signal though, which it didn't. And it's not looking like it's actually going to close either. Yeah, Maddie said market's too sideways right now. I agree. There's just no direction. Price is going back and forth within this range, and there's just nothing for us to take here at the moment. C6 said it's worth waiting for. Setups do come up, but it just needs to stabilize to establish direction, which takes time. Yeah, there's just no direction here. Price is still going back and forth. Sideways movement. And we're just waiting for some sort of confirmation here. So you guys can see that there's a pending sell signal that's been pending for about 3 candles now. Typically when that happens, it just shows that there's not enough power for price to get pushed in either direction. Because if there was enough power for a sell, price would just dump down super hard, right? Or at least harder. Yeah, there's just nothing here. Yeah, Stern said it's collecting liquidity. I agree. C6 asking, is this the news that you're careful with as it's coming up in 20 minutes? It's just a gas stock change right here, C6 for oil and gas. So it's the normal gas stock change that happens every month. I mean, I'm not like super worried about it because it's like hit or miss. Sometimes it does push price, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, there wouldn't be any entries here anyways. It's 7:11 right now, so we have 20 minutes till 7:30. And the volatility is starting to die down quite a bit. Volatility is dying down. There's no direction. There's no V1 patterns identifying reversal. So there's not really much here for us to to work with. We currently have the sell signal here that closed. If this closes with a red candle after it, guys, this is going to be a breakout V3 continuation. No confluence, and there's no red candle there, so there's no entry. Here's a clean chart. As you guys can see, the range just gets tighter and tighter. It's starting to squeeze. So you can see how price is squeezing down the middle. This just means that price is getting ready for a breakout. It's going to keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing until eventually it's going to break out, right? Break out to the top or break out to the bottom. Doesn't really matter which direction it goes, but that's typically what happens here. But again, our main focus is going to be the V1 variation with confluence and breakout V3 continuation with confluence as well. I think we have FOMC today too, right? Let's take a look. Let's take a look real quick. Actually, we don't have FOMC today. I think they changed it for this year, guys, because FOMC is usually on a Wednesday. Or no, they don't even have FOMC this week. I just saw your message, TC, so I wasn't sure what you were referring to. FOMC Boston. Yeah, so they have the minutes here on the 21st. It's next Wednesday, actually. So the FOMC minutes come out next week on a Wednesday. Oh, you're talking about the Fed members. So like, yeah, we have Fed Bar and Fed Bostic speaking later today, but the actual FOMC meeting is next week on Wednesday. So it's still on Wednesdays, just like how it was before. I think we had a question over here in the Discord. So there's still no entries, guys. I'm looking for a high here to establish a V1 pattern. Let's see, Henry's asking question. If I have a 150K count and a 50K count on Tradeovate copier inside the managed group shot menu, how can I assure the 150K count takes 10 contracts? So you set your contract size for each account, and then you put a total of the contracts in your main account, Henry. So in groups, it pretty much just it allocates to all of your accounts. So like, for example, you have your main account, which you want to take 10 contracts. You have your second account that wants to take 5 contracts, and you have your third account that wants to take 1 contract, right? You enter with 16 contracts and it gets distributed across all the accounts. So that's how you would do it in groups, in the groups copier for Tradeovate. I know it's kind of confusing, and you want to be assured that it's going to allocate to all your accounts, but it does. That's just how it works. I know it's kind of confusing because you don't really have a confirmation that, okay, this is for sure going to allocate, but it does work. I've done it before. That's where I started with my copier. You just got to put the full amount, and then it allocates to each account depending on your criteria. All right, so there's no other entries here right now, guys. We currently have a sell signal that's pending, but again, I mean, even with the sell signal, there's not really much to work with because there's no V1 pattern. Price is still squeezing right here, as you guys can see. It's not really doing too much. It's going back and forth, but it's still squeezing down the middle. It's not even coming back up to test any of the structures. It's just going sideways here at the moment. Tony's asking, does Replicanto work the same way? No, Replicanto works like any normal copier. You can just set the exact contract size, or you can just set exact size, and all your accounts will take whatever your main account's doing. So Replicanto is a lot easier. So if you guys want to use Replicanto, I think I put my discount code somewhere over here. Let's see. Yeah, so if you guys want to use Replicanto, I'll put the code over here in the chat. Um, I don't think it's working. I was trying to put, or actually it works right there. So I guess I put the link for Replicanto if you guys want to use it. Replicanto is way easier. I'd prefer to use Replicanto over any other copier because it just copies it exactly how you want it to. With Tradeway Group Copier, you can't use automatic TP stop losses. So you have to go and set it in yourself, or you have to exit manually. So the group trader is fine if you're able to manually enter and exit, but sometimes you get FOMO, or sometimes you get greedy and you don't want to pull out. Like say for example, hit your stop loss and you don't want to pull out, then you're going to be stuck with that position. Or if it hits your TP and you don't pull out and then it reverses on you, then you're going to be stuck with the position as well. So just keep that in mind, guys. If I think Replicanto is obviously the better option, but it's just up to the person who's using it, of course. All right, so let's see what we got going on over here. There's still nothing going on, guys. Price is finally starting to move to the upside, but it's not really a strong push up. It's kind of just slightly going up now. Yeah, exactly. We got that higher high. So what we want to see here is if you guys are looking for the high-low scalp reversal to liquidity, you basically want that higher high to establish and then come back down. Nick said could look for MPS. Yeah, you can look for a momentum pullback scalp, but you need the trend here to confirm first. So once the trend here is confirmed, you can start looking for a momentum pullback scalp to the upside. But at the moment, it still hasn't confirmed yet. So it's going to take some time. Yeah, it's going to take a while before the trend here shifts. Maybe like another 3 or 4 candles. Also, you have to be careful with the news right here at 7:30. All right, so we are now looking for, if the trend shifts to the upside, that's completely fine. We're just going to look for price to come back down, provide a V1 pattern, and then a continuation to the upside. All right, here we go. It's just it's just a waiting game for us, guys. There's not really much here that we can do. As you guys can see, we just gotta wait and wait and wait until we have some. So price is starting to shift here. The main thing that we need to look for here would be the trend. Once the trend is shifted, then we start looking for price to come back down for the retracement and swing back to the upside for correction. But at the moment, there's just nothing for us to work with here. It is just continuing to to slowly move back up. As you guys can see, the ATR has dropped down quite a bit. It was at like 20 earlier, 2022. Now it's down to 15. So this is normal price movement. And it's just getting smaller. It's now down to 14. So the volatility is dying down quite a bit. Went from 22 to 20 to 16 and now 14. So again, it's just a matter of time until it actually has some direction and push, but there really isn't anything here to work with at the moment. So this candle is going to close in about 30 seconds. We'll see what happens there. Maddie said the V1 on the 5-minute and 10-minute hit. Nice. Yeah, so the higher time frames hit. I mean, unfortunately, we're not looking on those time frames, but they did hit, as Maddie mentioned. So there's a V1 over here that happened on the 5-minute. Well, there's a V1 on both sides, Maddie. There's one up here, but obviously you wouldn't be looking for a sell because the trend is bullish on the 5 and the 10 over here as well. All right, guys, so the trend here still hasn't confirmed. What you're looking for here is you're looking for the red pivot, which is level 4, to be below all the other levels, because level 4 is the slowest moving pivot out of all of them. So basically what you're looking for at this point is you're looking for the trend here to shift, which hasn't shifted yet. Once it's shifted, you can start looking for possible opportunities. But at this very moment, there's just nothing here right now specifically. Yeah, C6 said, wow, back to open. Yeah, I mean, if you took any of the V1 patterns down here, so as I mentioned, these V1 patterns are reversal patterns, right? So you can see over here on this low, there's a V1 pattern right there. If you would have identified that as a reversal back to open, then that would have been your entry right there for back to open type strategy. Not one I'd recommend, but I know people still take it. That's something we used to kind of joke around about before. As long as you have confluence and you have a criteria to ride the position back to open, that'd be the case. The retail sentiment here is not very strong though, so I wouldn't have taken that back to open if it was something that I saw, because you need it to be pretty obvious. Right now it's 30% long, 70% short. Typically you want to do the opposite and buy because the retail traders are on the sell side, but it's not very strong right now. I mean, it's decently high, but it could be stronger. So. All right, we currently now have the trend for a bullish trend now. So the trend has shifted. As you can see, the pivots over here are now angling up. The price is above the pivots. The trend meter down below is green. We're now looking for some buys here. However, we do have some news over here at 7:30. So basically what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to push up slightly, come back down, and continue back up. That's pretty much what I'm looking for here. But again, we just do not have that yet here. So we are going to be waiting. Jesus. Steven is something else. Okay, so Steven, are you even on here? Let me see. He's not. So Steven said it's easier for me to fail accounts on Apex than MT4. I don't agree with that. I mean, it's just easy for you to fail with anything that you trade on. So I guess, I mean, I'll let him do his thing. Steven's being Steven per usual. Um, I don't think he realizes that MT4 doesn't work anymore. He's like a couple months late. Yeah, Maddie said you're a month late. So I'm just telling him good luck. I'm gonna let him make his own mistakes and buy some accounts and blow them. Yeah, I mean that's just Steven. You could tell Steven how to do exactly what everything and he'll do the complete opposite. But yeah, guys, just a reminder, don't use MT4 because MT4 is not it's not supported by like anybody who's in the US, especially if you're in the US. If you're in the US, definitely don't use MT4 because there's not going to be any companies that will service you. Um, so just keep that in mind, guys. I'll let Steven figure it out on his own. There's no point in me explaining to him that MT4 is not working because he's going to go ahead and do it anyways. So I'll just let him go make his mistakes. But yeah, I'm going to tell you guys though. So if you guys are thinking about doing another funding company, then make sure that you do something that's a futures funding company. So you guys have the option of Apex, which I think Apex is great. It's probably the best one right now. Top Step, I think Take Profit Trader, and there's a couple other ones as well. But this is mainly if you're in the US. So if you're located in the US, I don't recommend you even look at any MT4 platforms because the MT4 platform is pretty much obsolete right now. MT4 doesn't allow, you can't trade futures on MT4. You can only trade indices, which is not allowed for US clients. So I'll let Steven figure that out on his own because there's not there's just nothing that you can really. I mean, yeah, MT4 was cool for a while, but there's no platforms that will, or there's no funding companies that will support um MT4. Like TFF is trying to move over to C Trader, but but C Trader doesn't accept US clients either. So guys, if you guys have a TFF account, I recommend that you guys go in. Well, I don't recommend anything, but if you want to, you probably should dispute any of your challenges on TFF if you have any challenge fees, because I don't think they're going to be working for the US anymore. They're yeah, I mean they're pretty much done because they don't have any other platforms to move to that will accept US clients. All right, so we have a new low over here. Price pushed up right here. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be an entry here, Matt, for the reversal because price is going back and forth. There's not really much of a direction here with regard to trend. In order for this entry to work, there'd have to be a downwards trend here, which just never, which would never establish. So I don't think there's going to be an entry here for the high-low reversal, to liquidity. All right, so we currently have the news candle right here. Take this off. It's basically in a whole area of red flags. So what we would need right here is we would need the sell signal to close, provide a V1 pattern, and continue up higher from here. If we get that, then great. We can maybe look for a breakout V3 continuation in that direction. But if not, then there's just not going to be okay, so there's a V1 pattern here that's starting to set up. This is a good sign. It's a good sign because we're starting to get a setup here. This candle has to close green though. Okay, so we do have the V1 pattern right here. That's the one good thing. We have the V1 pattern here for confluence, but here's the bad thing. There's not going to be able to be any breakout V3 continuation because there's a buy signal here already. In order for us to have a breakout V3 continuation, we need to have a sell signal to complete the opposite retracement confirmation, and then we'll be looking for price to climb up, but we don't have that yet. The only other thing that we can look for here, which is still viable, would be a V1 variation to the upside. So we need price to push up slightly, come back down, and bounce off it. If we get something like this, and we get a V1 pattern right here, this can be a double bottom, right? Double bottom rejection. And then we can take this right here for a buy. So we do have opportunity here on the way. It's just not there yet. So just wait for this pattern here to play through. Once it plays through, then we'll be good. CJ said, I think Steven is addicted to mental and emotional pain. Because why is he this way? Yeah, I have no idea, CJ. Really have no idea. Yeah, Nick said he's still using his leftover FTMO accounts, but other than that, that's about it. Yeah. Natasha's asking if Steven blew another account. I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, I don't want to wish any bad on it, but I'm pretty sure he did because we already know how he trades. I told him to just take the PRB entries, and I'm pretty sure he traded gold again after everybody told him not to trade gold yesterday. I'm pretty sure as soon as he got off the live yesterday, he traded gold after everybody here told him not to. So it's all good. I mean, that's something that would have to be learned on their own. There was a momentum pullback scalp entry that came up right here at CT and Daniel took. I don't know if anybody else identified it or saw it, but there was a PRB entry, or not, sorry, PRB, MPS entry that came up right here. Price pushed up. Turn on the levels right here. So price pushed up. We got the red candle right here. It pulled down to this right here, and this would have been the entry for the MPS. It cut down into some drawdown, but eventually did push right back up and hit its TP. So if you guys took the momentum pullback scalp entry, this would have been the entry right here. That was one of our older official entries. We don't really apply it anymore because there's too many entries to follow. But that entry still does work perfectly fine if you guys do want to take it. Let's see if there's anything else here. So CERN over here made some profits for the day. Nice work, CERN. So here are CERN's profits for the day so far. CERN over here locked in 2,614 for the day, all wins, and his second account total profit of 526. Nice work, CERN. So there goes CERN's profits for the day so far. Here are CT's profits. CT locked in a total profit of 12,000 for the day. Nice work, CT, all wins on his Apex. Nick over here got a small loss. It's fine. I got an even bigger loss, so you guys are good. And here's Bamal as well. Took a loss as well. So here are my accounts, guys. I just want to be transparent with you guys. You know, I take losses too. Losses don't happen very often, but they do happen from time to time. So right here, I do have a loss for the day across my accounts. Unfortunately, that's the case. But we had a win yesterday, right? And we had a win the day before that. So I'm still in profit for the week. I'm just at a loss for the day. So that's why I'm not really affected by the loss today, because you got to look at things from a longer perspective and from an outwards view. So if you guys want to be super careful with Apex, what I do recommend is just trading where you'll be able to lose 4 back-to-back losses. So if you guys are on a 150K account, if you use a 10 contract size, it's going to be almost impossible for you to blow your account as long as you take only the PRB and you take it at a 10 contract. Because if you're taking that, so for example, I'll show you the math right here, because your daily max drawdown, or basically your trailing drawdown, is 5,000, right? So if your drawdown is 5,000 and you're taking a 10 contract size, you're going to divide that by 1,250. You can have 4 back-to-back losses before you blow your account with Apex, which has never happened before. We've never had this with any of our strategies. So if you're doing a 10 contract, that's how many times you can lose back-to-back. If you're doing a 12 contract like I am, the risk is higher, but you still have the opportunity. So the max drawdown for 150K count is 1,500. You divide that by 1,500 because that's typically where your losses would be. You can lose 3.3 times. So you can have 3.3 back-to-back losses before you blow your Apex, which again, you know, it never happens like that. So you guys just have to keep that in mind. You just have to do the math and understand that you didn't that you have to keep within that discipline and that consistency to be able to not blow your account. Wait, there's a V1 right here. I just noticed this, guys. I don't know if anybody else took this trade here, but there was a V1 with confluence right here. I totally missed it. I wasn't even looking at it. It's too late for me to enter right now, so I'm not going to enter it. Actually, no, I take that back. Sorry, guys. There's no entry there because we need to have the retracement signal. Yeah. Thanks, Kevin, for reminding me. Yeah, that's why I wasn't looking at the entry here yet, because we need that sell signal to confirm the pending signal. We don't have any pending buy signal yet, so there's not going to be any entry for anything really. There's no entry for a V1, and there's no entry for a breakout V3 continuation. There's another structure here though, so I mean this is pretty much invalidated at this time, and we now have a new structure right here. All right, Nick, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Definitely. But yeah, back to what you were saying earlier, Natasha. Yeah, it looks like Steven did blow his account. He said even when I didn't reach my maximum loss, sometimes the app's still showing that I did. Because Steven doesn't understand that. I mean, this has always been his issue, right? He doesn't know how to use a stop loss. So he'll take a trade and he'll let that thing run to like I think he was on FTMO one time and he had like a 150K count. He was holding his trade until it went down into like negative 100,000. And then he's like, well, it came back into profit, so why did I still lose my account? And I'm like, bro, like you don't get it. Like you can't go past a certain his thought process is that he can go into negative like as far as he can go, but as long as it comes back up, he's fine. And he's been doing this for years. So, and I've been trying to explain it, but he just doesn't get it. So, um, yeah. I mean, if he was doing that with FTMO before, like it's crazy. I don't know how you don't get it. It's like and that was his argument every time. He would even argue with FTMO. He would have like, and then he'd open another account. He's like, okay, now I have a 50K account. He would go down to like negative like 30,000, and your max drawdown on an FTMO is like 2,000 or 3,000. He would go down like negative 3,000, and then he would come back like he would hold on to that trade for like a month, and then it would come back in profit eventually. And he would argue with FTMO like, but I'm in profit, so why did my account get blown? And I don't even think they would respond to him. He would complain about it so many times that they would just not even respond to him anymore. I think it came to a point where they wouldn't even let him buy any more accounts because he would just blow them right away and then complain about it, and then it was the same complaint every time. Um, So I mean, if you're somebody that's like that, then you probably shouldn't use a funding company, right? If you want to hold a trade to go to like super negative, you should be using your personal account because you're never going to make it in the prop firm space. It's just it would never work because that's just the way that they work. Like you can't have draw down that far. Nobody would trust you with money if you traded that way. Of course, price is likely to come back, but if it doesn't, then you get liquidated. Lucas said, "Well, this makes me feel better about my own trade psychology." Yeah, no, you're fine, Lucas. Um, you just have to understand how things work. So, yeah, if you guys don't want to use a stop loss, then definitely do not use a prop firm because a prop firm it's just never going to work for you. All right, so prices are tracing down, and it's retracing down super hard. CT said Steven is here to make us feel better. The crazy thing is he passed like I think like 4 Apex accounts. He would pass his 4 Apex accounts just taking the PRB entries, and then um he would take some gold trades. I don't know what's up with him. Like he'll pass and he'll say, okay, I'm gonna stick to this, and then he'll take a gold trade and blow his account like right after. I think it's happened at least like 10 times with like 4 different FTMO accounts, and then now with like another 4 to 6 Apex accounts, which I mean, it is what it is. But Steven's still welcome here. You know, he's always going to come back. It's just he'll come to his senses in a couple days or a couple weeks, and like, okay, he made a mistake, and he'll come back and try to do it again. Right? It's all good. Dijon said, need a decent trade to come up so I can get an easy internet exit for the 7th day. If you're just counting your days, Dijon, you can just take a one contract, just open and close it. There's a V3 setting up right here, but this isn't a V3 with confluence because the trend here is not bearish, guys. So you need to have a bearish trend in order for it to have the confluence. It's also at a red flag right here at the sessions. I mean, if you guys want to take it, feel free. I'll mark it up for you guys here, but this is not an official trade. And this is not a trade that I would personally take myself because there's just too many red flags here. Well, I mean, for one, it's at the red flag. For two, there's no bearish trend. There is a V1 pattern up here. So that's like maybe 1+, but the cons outweigh the pros here. So I personally wouldn't take it, especially because it's right at the sessions. Let's see. Frederick said, I don't think it's a psychology issue. I think he needs to write his rules out for himself until it sticks if he has a problem remembering. No, I think it's a problem of greed. I think that's really what it is because if you guys remembered like last week, he was looking for a guaranteed strategy to give him 1,000 pips of gold every single day. He said, if I get 1,000 pips of gold every single day, then I'll be a millionaire. And I was like, yeah, I know everybody would be a millionaire. It's not that easy. So, yeah, he just has like his expectations are like way too high and he's a gambler. Yeah, exactly what CJ just said. So guys, if you guys took the breakout V3 continuation here, it hit your full TP. Again, like I said, it's not one that I would take. Obviously, it's not going to count as an official trade because I did tell you guys the reasons why I wouldn't have taken it. There's no trend here for a bearish trend. There was also price at the red flag. And then also on top of that, there's just no confirmation of entry here with regard to the confluence. I mean, the confluence is up here, but it wouldn't meet criteria because it was opposite of the trend. Yeah, Frederick said learning is different for everyone, but some traders have self-sabotage traits that can be overcome. I mean, I hope so. Steven's been doing this for a while now. He's been doing it for well, no, the thing with him is he's in the cycle. So I mean, you guys have seen the cycle that I've drawn before, right? So like this is how the cycle works. Um, you know, I draw this almost like every other week. And you guys know how the cycle works because I'm pretty sure everybody has been in the cycle before. Right? Like you have see if I can find it. Yeah, it's like you have profitability, you have greed, you have greed, boredom, and then you have people that bad trades, losses. Own accounts. Blame everyone but yourself for mistakes. Repeat cycle. I mean, it's literally this is a cycle that a lot of people are in, right? You'll get profitability for a little bit, you'll get greedy, get bored, start taking some bad trades, have some losses. You start revenge trading, you blow your account. Then you start blaming everybody for your mistakes, right? It was the market's fault. It was Sean's fault. It was the group's fault, right? You repeat the cycle, join another group, profitability, greed, bad trades, loss. And then it just keeps going over and over and over again. That's the whole point of the mentorship, right? So if you guys are part of the mentorship, you guys will see this right here. You'll see there's profitability. You'll get greed. You'll get boredom sometimes. You have some bad trades and some losses, but then it cuts off right here. So from here, you go back to profitability, right? You don't really revenge trade or blow accounts. Like everybody in the mentoring group is understanding this, right? You don't blame anybody for your mistakes. You take responsibility for everything. That's why we document the trades. And then you just go back to here. So this is pretty much how it works for everybody who's finding consistency and discipline. You get profitability, you're going to get greedy and bored sometimes. You're going to take bad trades. You're going to learn from it. Profitability. Same thing. And then you just keep going in this process here. We will have losses sometimes, but then you'll just build back up, right? Like today, we had 2 wins for this week. I wouldn't say I got greedy or bored, but we just had some losses. So for me, I don't even have this here. It's profitability, sideways, losses, back to profitability. But from this here, it's like so when you get into this situation right here, you're no longer doing a circle, right? You're not in a circle anymore. You're doing, you're climbing up now. So you'll be like profitable. This is what your trading should look like. Once you get better, this is what your trading will look like. So you'll be profitable, bad trade losses, profitable. Like you're no longer in a cycle at this point. Once you have consistency and discipline, this is what it should look like. Like, for example, I had a win on Monday. I had another win, so there's no bad trades, no bad losses. I had a loss today, and then if we have a win tomorrow, should be in profit by the end of the week, right? So this is kind of the once you break out of that cycle, you start to find consistency and discipline where you'll be profitable. You'll make some bad trades sometimes, you'll take losses, and then you just keep repeating the process. Exactly. DeJohn said that's what my top step dashboard looks like. Yeah, that's what everybody's dashboard should look like. As long as you guys stick to the game plan, right? All right, so here's the V1 pattern that came up, guys. I mean, there's no official entries that have come up today. Unfortunately, it's crazy. We've been waiting for, I mean, pretty much all session, and there's just no entries that are available here. So if there's any other questions that you guys have, I'm going to go over the chat real quick, make sure I answer everything. But there's just not looking like any opportunities in the market today. We had one official entry, which was the PRB entry, which was a loss, and it's completely fine. That's just, that's the entry that we took today, and it was a loss. It just happens. Other than that, there was no other official entries that came up today. There was entries that popped up, but not exactly official entries with regard to, the strategies that we're applying. So let's see, Ross said on Apex, how can we get a summary of the trade gains or losses to post? So if you go to your control panel on NinjaTrader, it'll show on there, Ross. That's how I got my profits, like how I got these screenshots here for my profits. This is under my control panel with all of your accounts. If you're on Tradeovate, you can just pull up your account performance and then it'll show up there. But it just depends on like where you're looking. So if you're on Apex, it doesn't update until the end of the day. So Apex doesn't update until midnight. So you're not gonna be able to get a screenshot until like tomorrow. But you'd be able to get it from Tradeovate, or you could get it from the control center on NinjaTrader as well. Nick said he just blames it on his mom. That's what he does. Yeah, don't do that, guys. Um, yeah, CT said no news, retail is mixed, and markets are relatively flat. Sideways markets, scalp small if you have to trade. Yeah, and I agree with you too. Um, yeah, Ross. So when you open NinjaTrader, your control panel is like the first window that opens up. So if you want to log out of your NinjaTrader and then log back in, um, it'll it should show all your accounts on there. I wish I could show it to you on my screen, but I can't drag it over because it's on my laptop. But it's like the top window. It says NinjaTrader. It says new tools, workspaces, connections, help, and that's going to be your control panel. As long as you have your connections linked to your current account, then you can pull up the it should show how many profits you made for the day. That's where you can take a screenshot of it. Gotcha. Yeah, you can do a realized P&L. For default, it has gross realized P&L, and total P&L. So that's where I took my screenshot for mine. Let's see. William's asking, hey, Sean, I was wondering futures versus Forex CFD indices, does the price move different, meaning volatility and spread? Yeah, that's the whole point of CFD, right? You understand what CFD means? If not, CFD means contract for difference. Futures has a raw price. So this right here is a raw price. This is what the price is for the exchange. That's why this is allowed in the US. And that's the reason why CFDs are not allowed in the US, because CFDs are contracts for difference. That means a broker can set their own price. So yes, if you're trading a CFD, price is always going to be different. Spread's always going to be different because the brokers can set it. That's the whole reason why the US doesn't allow it, because it can be manipulated, right? This here can't be manipulated because this is the exact raw price from the exchange, right? If you were to search up YM, any future here, really, it'll tell you where it's coming from, right? CBOT, Chicago Board of Trade, the New York Stock Exchange. This stuff's coming from the actual exchange. It's not coming from a broker. If you type in something like US30, you'll see it like Black Bull's a broker. This is a CFD because Black Bull creates pricing. They set whatever price they want. They set whatever spread they want. Same with capital.com. Anything that's a CFD is a contract for difference. It's a difference of price of what it actually is, because a broker can set it to whatever they want. So yeah, price can move different for any broker. They can manipulate however they want, and that's why it's not allowed here in the US. Okay, other question over here. Let's see. Henry said almost FOMOed into that V3. No confirmation, trades wouldn't go through. So hopping off before he does something he regrets. All right, Henry, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Guys, I'm going to hop on for the mentoring session right now. So if you guys want to hop onto it, just make sure that you guys check the mentoring tab over here. I'll post it in here, and then we'll cover anything that you guys want in that mentoring session. If you guys are on the YouTube and you guys want to sit in on it, just make sure that you guys go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kodi Kai Trades. And once you go here, make sure that you have subscribe notifications on right here. If you have that on, YouTube will send you an email whenever I go live, and I go live twice a day. So I'll be going live for that shortly. We have one last question here from Rev. Rev's asking, on the PRV, can you define what you mean by space? Space is like a sideways movement. So we don't really have a term for it, because we don't want to say doji because it's not always going to be a doji, but you're looking for a sideways movement. So for example, over here on our entry, we had price come down. It retraced up here and came back down. That's going to be the step one that we're looking for, retracement and continuation, or spike back in the direction of the trend. And then this doji right here was the space, because we had price go sideways here. So that's kind of what we look for when we identify space. You would kind of need the pivots here though, because that's the only way you could really confirm the trend, right? There's no way that someone could confirm the trend this quickly, right? Because we had an upwards trend and then downwards trend right away. If you didn't have the pivots there, it's going to be almost impossible for you to identify that trend shift that quickly. And then also we had the sell momentum here, which confirmed the direction of momentum. And that's kind of what gave us the opportunity to look for the sell here. But it's all good. It's just kind of how it played through. So yeah, no problem, Rev. I can help you with that. And Brock said, thank you, Sean, for the live. Or there's a chance that live might be stopped. Probably not. If it does, I'll adjust accordingly because I need it. Yeah, so we'll continue with how we're hosting the lives here on the YouTube for the moment, guys. But if not, it's probably not going to be publicly streamed on the YouTube. So if you want to continue watching the lives, make sure that you're on the Discord because I still post the link here. The lives will probably go up, but they'll be unlisted. So just whoever's in our group here can watch the lives with us. That's probably the next step for us here. We're just not going to be publicly streaming the live sessions anymore for like random viewers because you guys can see the power of the PRV strategy, right? I mean, today didn't play through, but for the past month or so, it's been super strong, and I'd rather keep this under the sheets and not really. And this is another reason why I'm not giving you guys specific requirements for it. There are specific requirements for the strategy, but I'm not telling you the specific requirements because I don't want the public to know, right? If everybody applies, if everybody does what we're doing here, it's not going to work as good as it's been working. So that's why we're trying to keep it secret so that you guys can take it with me here and you guys can kind of understand what I'm looking for. But there are requirements. That's why when people give me their opinion on the strategy, it doesn't make sense to me because I know what the requirements are for the strategy, right? So we'll talk about this more in the mentoring session, guys. But again, we'll meet in a few. So if you guys are part of the mentoring session, just look at the mentoring tab over here, guys. I'm going to get off this live session and then I'm going to hop on the mentoring session so that we can cover stuff in detail. But again, if you guys want to sit in on it, just go to the YouTube channel and it'll either be posted right here or it'll be, if you're subscribed to the channel, it'll show there as well. They'll send you an email that I'm going live. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys in a few. And if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out and I'll see you guys here tomorrow if I don't see you guys on the live session for the mentoring